I'm Vanessa. I'm 33. My husband, Steve, who is the same age as me, and our 3-year-old daughter, Mary, make up our family of 3. Steve's family runs a tutoring center. His parents used to be teachers, and Steve also has a teaching license. They're a wealthy and smart family, and I still can't believe I'm part of it. My parents and friends were worried at first, but there was no need to worry. They are really good people. Steve's family warmly accepted me, an athletic type. Claire, the mother of 3 sons, was happy to finally have a daughter. I was nervous at first, but my energetic and cheerful personality is my strong suit. I decided to be myself and have built a good relationship with them. I have a level 2 certification in landscape construction management and work on greening projects in various places like parks and commercial facilities. I studied hard to get this national qualification. And even after getting into the field, it's a physically demanding job. It's not just brains, it's a lot of physical work too. I always take care of my health and, for a woman, I'm quite strong. Steve, who now teaches at the Family Tutoring Center, was an elementary school teacher before that. We first met when I visited the school where Steve worked to discuss a greening project. After giving birth, I took maternity leave and just returned to work last year. Since Mary is still little, my workplace allows me to prioritize my family, though sometimes I can't make it in time to pick her up. In those cases, Claire helps out, and Steve picks her up if he's free. I'm grateful for their support of my work and lead a fulfilling life. However, there is one person in my married life who bothers me. That's Diana, my husband's brother's spouse. Steve is the middle of 3 brothers, with the youngest still single. Steve's older brother Keith's wife, Diana, is my source of frustration. Though primarily a housewife, she also helps with accounting and office work at the tutoring center. Keith and Diana have a 5-year-old son whom they plan to send to a private elementary school. I realized Diana was a different type from me when we first met at Steve's family home. She's always well-dressed with her hair and clothes perfectly in place, and her constant smile initially struck me as charming. But Diana has a dual nature. One time, while helping Claire in the kitchen, Claire stepped out, and Diana spoke up.
Hey, can't you do something about that outfit?
Huh? Diana, who had been smiling, sounded like a different person.
You always wear shabby, dirty-looking clothes. Don't you realize you're the odd one out here? It's embarrassing for me too.
Well, this is comfortable for me. I have to chase after my little daughter all the time.
I have a kid too, you know.
Diana sighed dramatically and seemed about to say more, but then Claire returned and she switched back to her usual self.
Oh, what were you two chatting about?
Oh, Claire, just some parenting talk.
I was amazed at how quickly she could change her tone. It's like she has a sensor and automatically switches when Claire comes back. Claire looked at me as if to ask if that was true. Yeah, just talking about our kids. Diana nodded in satisfaction. A slender Diana isn't frightening. I can handle this level of sarcasm, and I don't want to worry Claire unnecessarily. Some of my friends are troubled with mother-in-law issues. It's common to hear that mothers-in-law can be a source of stress. Compared to that, my mother-in-law is very supportive, even of my work. I thought, if I can't handle a bit of sarcasm from Diana, what can I handle? But every time we met, Diana would belittle me. Once, I ran into her on the street talking to a few of her mom friends while I was on the way to a job site. We made eye contact, and it would have been weird to ignore her, so I said, "Hi, Diana," and nodded.
Oh, hello.
I was in a hurry, so a quick greeting was all we exchanged. But that night, the phone rang.
Well, what do you think you're doing?
As soon as she realized it was me, she started yelling without even a greeting. What do you mean?
This afternoon, don't ever speak to me dressed like that again. How can you walk around in those work clothes? It's unbelievable. You saw us, right? It's normal to be well dressed, even if there's no special occasion. All those moms are sending their kids to private schools. You're in a different world. I was so embarrassed.
Diana ranted on. Well, I was working, so those were indeed my work clothes.
I don't care. Just don't speak to me outside again. It's embarrassing.
But isn't that strange? We're family.
I've told you before, haven't I? You don't fit in with that family. And just so you know, you've never been just a sister-in-law to me.
She hung up abruptly, leaving me stunned. Did she really need to call and say all that? She continues to make snide remarks whenever we meet at Steve's parents' house or family gatherings, but only reveals her true nature when we're alone. She enjoys looking well-dressed and acting like the sophisticated wife of a wealthy family. I don't mind that at all, but I don't understand why she needs to attack me. She always wears nice clothes and carries expensive bags and accessories. How does she afford so many? Keith must let her buy whatever she wants. Keith is so quiet. He probably doesn't know her true nature. She's just that kind of person. I haven't told Keith or Claire about any of this, but the stress was getting to me, so I mentioned it to Steve.
Really? She doesn't seem that way to me.
He was so laid back at first. A few days later, Claire called. She was calling to share the details of a family dinner that weekend. Even though we all live about 30 minutes apart by car or train, Claire usually doesn't interfere in her son's lives. However, at Claire's request, we'll gather as a whole family only for my father-in-law Thomas's birthday, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. His birthday is approaching soon.
This time, I got a private room at Thomas's favorite restaurant. We've never been there together, but the food is great, so I hope you're looking forward to it.
Oh yes, I'm looking forward to it. While I was genuinely looking forward to it, the thought of seeing Diana made me anxious.
You don't sound very enthusiastic. Is work keeping you busy?
Oh, I'm fine. Really? Oh no, I shouldn't have let that tone slip. I hurriedly replied.
Vanessa, if there's anything troubling you with our family, please tell me.
Huh? No, not at all. You always help me out when I have to work late, Claire. I'm really not troubled at all. Thank you so much.
I don't mean my own family.
Huh? I was confused. Then it was the weekend, the day of the dinner. It was for Thomas's birthday, so I decided to sincerely celebrate, also to show my gratitude to Steve's parents. I resolved not to let Diana's nastiness bother me. I left home early, and when I arrived at the private room, neither Thomas, Claire, nor Keith's family were there yet, which made me feel relieved. I came early to avoid keeping Thomas waiting and to minimize my time with Diana. However, soon after, Keith's family arrived. Hello.
Vanessa, it's been a while.
Hi, Keith. Long time no see. After exchanging polite greetings, Steve and Keith started chatting as brothers do. Diana quickly came over to me, looked me up and down, and sighed.
Well, what are you wearing? When you come to such a fancy shop, dress better. How many times do I have to tell you?
Though her voice was low, her usual insults began. Is this really something to say on such a special day? I held back and forced a smile. I chose this dress considering the occasion. Is it that bad? It's not an expensive brand, but...
Ha! How can you wear such cheap stuff? And those broad shoulders don't suit a dress. Only your wedding ring for jewelry? And you never wear nail polish, and your hands look so rough.
My job doesn't allow for nail polish. Diana, aren't those long nails inconvenient for housework? Besides housework, my job involves handling plants and soil. so my hands get rough easily. Not being able to wear nail polish never bothered me. My muscular build compared to the average woman is because I've worked hard in the physically demanding landscaping industry. I was proud of my strong shoulders and hands from my hard work in landscaping, but her mockery made me snap back.
Well, what? Are you saying I don't do housework?
Annoyed by my retort, Diana's voice grew louder.
I can't stand you. I've been giving you kind advice, and you never listen. Are you rebelling? It's unbearable to be associated with a rough woman like you.
Oh no, she's getting too loud. I had to calm her down. Today is Thomas's celebration. Please leave me alone.
Well, what? You're ruining it. You don't belong here. I've told you. I can't dine with someone as shabby as you. Just leave.
No way. Why should I leave? Claire organized this dinner, and clearly, Diana is the one causing a scene. I'll listen to your complaints later. I have things to say too, but for now, I decided to stand my ground, but now was not the time.
Who do you think you are, talking back like that? Didn't you hear me? I said leave. Not just this place, but this family too.
Diana's loud voice lost all pretense as Steve started to approach.
It's you who should leave.
The sliding door to the private room quietly opened, and Claire entered calmly. It was like a scene from a movie about fighting villains. So who was going to be dealt with? Definitely not me. Thomas and the youngest brother, George, followed Claire, who then gently closed the door.
Oh, Claire and Thomas?
Diana, who had been heated up, seemed to remember where she was and the purpose of the gathering, struggling to find her words.
Oh, what I meant was...
Everyone, sit down.
Claire's calm yet commanding voice left no room for argument, and we all complied.
First, mocking someone's work. Second, constant rude remarks. Third, an ugly spirit in this family.
This line played only in my head, but the atmosphere felt very much like that.
It looks like we need to have a talk before the birthday celebration. Thomas, do you mind?
Thomas accepted it, and Claire turned to Diana.
Now, Diana, what exactly were you saying to Vanessa?
Wow, even gentle Claire could deliver a sharp jab when needed. Diana, flustered, replied, "Oh, just looking forward to the meal today."
My hearing must be going. I thought I heard you telling her to leave.
What? No, it was just a little argument. A joke, really.
Still trying to compose herself, Diana forced a smile, and I was almost impressed by her effort.
An argument? Over what? It seemed quite one-sided. How long have you been treating Vanessa this way?
Claire had probably heard everything from the hallway. She glared straight at Diana.
I wasn't bullying her. I was just giving some advice on manners and attire as a senior member of the family.
It didn't sound like advice. Besides, within reason, people can wear what they want. Vanessa isn't dressed inappropriately.
But in such a fancy place, wearing non-branded clothes, and barely any makeup or jewelry. I didn't want to embarrass you, Claire.
Enough.
Yikes.
Claire's sharp command made me shrink back with Diana. The three brothers and Thomas knew well how intimidating Claire could be when angry. Without much surprise, they kept the children entertained with books and conversation.
Diana, the one who should be embarrassed is you.
What?
Even when you visited us, I noticed something was off when you were alone with Vanessa. At first, I thought you were just chatting nicely.
We were, weren't we, Vanessa?
Diana turned to me with a desperate look, but I avoided eye contact.
Just so you know, Vanessa never tattled to me. She hoped you'd change on your own, but your behavior just escalated.
What?
Diana stammered as Claire pressed on.
And you always wear such nice clothes and have so many bags.
Yes, I make sure I look presentable wherever I go.
Where does the money for those come from?
What?
Diana froze, caught off guard by the unexpected question.
Well, of course
You help with the tutoring center office work and accounting, so we pay you for that. Even if my son said you could spend it freely, it can't be enough for all those branded clothes and bags. Have you been using the household money to indulge yourself?
No.
Yes, she had. I'd always wondered about the source of her spending. I thought Keith was very generous, but it turns out she had control of the family finances. Keith should have checked more carefully. Maybe he trusted her because of her convincing act as a good wife. I felt a bit sorry for Keith.
Are you spending money like water while talking about private school exams? Are you saving for the tuition?
Oh.
You're not expecting us to cover it, are you?
No, of course not. But, they are your grandkids.
So that's what it was. She was counting on Claire and Thomas's money.
Of course, we love our grandkids. We'd help with education costs if needed.
Right?
If you leave this family.
What? No, Claire, that's too much. I'll apologize to Vanessa.
Apologize to me? She's never apologized to me before.
Right, Vanessa? You'll forgive me, right? We're like sisters.
Sisters. Only as long as you're Keith's wife. Should I repeat what you said? Claire looked at me, signaling me to continue. You said you didn't want to be family, not even as a sister-in-law.
Ugh.
Diana made a strange noise as I cut her off without hesitation.
It's not just the family money. You've been dipping into the tutoring center's funds too, haven't you?
Who?
Diana's eyes widened, unable to speak. Really? I was genuinely surprised by Claire's words. I suspected she was using the family money, but I never thought she was dipping into the tutoring center's funds.
You were careful enough not to get caught, but we eventually found out. Paul, who's been doing our accounting for years, was also manipulated by you.
Diana's face turned pale.
Distribute gifts to the companies we work with, and thank you gifts for seminar instructors. You were in charge of those purchases, and the receipts kept getting larger and more frequent. You claimed they were for birthdays, or that my son or I had asked for them.
No.
Gifts from department stores that weren't just sweets, something we'd never done before, but you were trusted as a member of the family. Even the meal expenses for taking part-time instructors to lunch were actually you having lunch and tea with your mom friends.
Ugh.
The suspicious receipts kept piling up, and Paul finally consulted me. Even before that, my son had started investigating.
What?
You betrayed everyone's trust. Dressing up is the most important thing to you.
No, it wasn't me.
Diana looked pleadingly at Keith, but he just stared coldly. If all this was true, his reaction was understandable.
Vanessa is the opposite. She may not be into fashion, but she always puts her family and work first. You belittled her work and probably didn't even know much about it. But becoming a landscape construction manager is an incredible achievement. She must have worked hard to earn it.
Claire. I felt a rush of emotion as Claire's praise caught me off guard after Diana's thorough dressing down.
She's the kind of person who doesn't mind getting her clothes dirty or her hands covered in soil. Have you ever seen her work passionately? How could you belittle someone like that?
Tears welled up in my eyes as Diana slumped, unable to offer any more excuses.
Our tutoring center may not be as big as the national chains, but we've built trust by caring for our students and their families, growing little by little. What matters most is people, their hearts. You don't belong here, Diana. You need to leave.
Claire's firm declaration was so impressive that I almost felt like applauding. After that, Diana, who had been playing the part of the ideal wife in a wealthy family, was thrown out. Keith set up a discussion, but when Diana refused to admit her wrongdoing and got angry instead, he filed for divorce. With the embezzlement uncovered, she wouldn't receive any alimony and was left with nothing. Keith got custody of their son, with support from Thomas and Claire to maintain a stable life. Diana, who had always put herself first, had treated her son harshly when things didn't go her way. So the boy nodded firmly when reassured by Keith and his parents. The push for private school was entirely Diana's idea, and he had resented the pressure. Now, he plays freely with Mary. Of course, Steve and I plan to help out as much as we can. On a relaxed weekend at Thomas and Claire's house, Claire approached me.
I'm really sorry for all the trouble Diana caused you. We should have noticed sooner.
No, it's okay. I didn't really mind at first.
Please let me know if anything bothers you in the future.
All right. As she spoke, I recalled Claire's words.
What matters most is people, their hearts.
Claire noticed my thoughtful look and asked, "What's on your mind?" "Oh, nothing. I was just thinking how cool you are, Claire."
Oh, what's this? You're the cool one who can create gardens in overalls. Maybe I should ask you to redo our garden. I want to get our flower beds replanted.
Oh, I'd love to. I'll do it anytime, even if it's not for work. Just let me know.
Make sure to charge her, though. Mom can be demanding.
Steve chimed in, laughing, and we all joined in. Value people, value their hearts. I'll make sure to remember that, so I can keep laughing with my beloved family from now on.